Y'all, Sean the Math Swap Tutoring here. And in this video, I want to talk about the calculus concept of indefinite integrals. Now, indefinite integrals, oh, make sure you like and subscribe. Okay. I'm just getting right into it. I'm just not wasting time. So, indefinite integrals are very much related to antiderivatives, but I'm going to start out by kind of like explaining the difference between those. So, um, so let's talk about antiderivatives briefly. So an antiderivative is basically it works like this. You know, it is f of x, big F of x, such that the derivative of big F of x is equal to little f of x, or in other words, is equal to your original function. So in other words, an antiderivative is a function such that if you take the derivative of it, it'll go back to your original function. So in other words, the antiderivative is kind of like the reverse of a derivative. Okay. Now, an indefinite integral is a little bit, it's the same, but it's a little different. It goes a little bit further. Okay, so an indefinite integral is the set of all antiderivatives of a function f of x. Okay. So like for example, if if f of x is a derivative, I'll write it this way. And I didn't mean to say f of x is a derivative. I meant to say I meant to say if it's an antiderivative. Let's say, for example, you're taking the integral of a function, f of x dx. What happens is when you take the integral, you get f of x, big F of x. That's the integral. But then you add c. Now I talked about the same thing in the antiderivative video I did. But really, this plus c part is it really applies to indefinite integrals. Because what happens is this represents the set of all antiderivatives of f of x. You know, plus c because what happens is you put the plus c, which is formerly called the constant of integration. You put that there because when you go back in the reverse direction, when you take the integral, you have to recognize that there could be a constant there that when you took the derivative of the original function, it went away by differentiation. Okay, and so that's why you put a plus c there because it could be any variety of constants. And so the integral is like the indefinite integral is like the family of all those. It represents the set of all of those. That's why you put a c because you don't know which one it actually is, if that makes sense. Another part to the definition of an indefinite integral is that it is integration without limits. In other words, if you look at the little integration sign, first of all, that means like take the sum of that little kind of long S looking thing. It means take the sum. So if you look at that, there are no numbers on it. Now, if you've already gotten into definite integrals, then you know that there are numbers on those, which are called limits. Okay, and so those limits are usually what will allow you to integrate and get like an actual number value. Okay, so here's something else to add here on that note. Um, an indefinite integral is a function, as we see here. When you take the indefinite integral, you'll get like some function, okay? Whereas a definite integral, which I'll get into in a future video, is a number. And remember, a definite integral is going to have limits, okay? So what happens is you're going to integrate over a specific interval, okay? But we won't get into that now. We'll get into that, whenever that time comes, okay? I know y'all like the shirt, math is equal to fun, so anyhow, I digress. So let's take the integral of 10x to the fourth power minus secant squared x dx, okay? Now, it helps, especially whenever you get into some of these specific functions like trig functions like you see here, it helps to have like a table that will help you to remember what the integral of those is. Those kind of functions, what the integral of what those, or the derivative of those functions. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. I don't know if my grammar was right there, but anyway, all right, so let's take the integral. I talked a little bit more about how to take the integral in the antiderivatives video, but just remember it's the opposite direction of taking the derivative. Okay, so 10x to the fourth, that's going to be equal to 10x, thinking too fast, x5 over 5 minus, so we know that the derivative of tangent is secant squared, so the integral of secant squared is going to be tangent, so minus um, tangent x plus c, and we can kind of simplify this a little bit more because 10 divided by 5 is 2, so it's going to be 2x to the fifth minus tangent x plus c. And remember, this is the family of all those particular functions, okay? Now let's take the integral of this function, 2t squared plus t squared times the square root of t minus 1 over t squared dt. First thing I want to do is I want to split all these up because you can kind of see we're going to be able to do some simplification here. So it's going to be the integral of 2t squared over t squared plus t squared square root of t over t squared minus 1 over t squared dt. See those t squareds, they cancel. So it's going to be the integral of 2 plus the square root of t. So, actually, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite some of these to make it a little easier. I'm going to rewrite square root of t as t to a power, so that's going to be t to the 1/2 power, and then minus t to the negative 2. If you look at that, that's t to the negative 2 dt. Now let's go ahead and integrate. So that's going to be equal to 2t plus, when you take the integral of t to the 1/2, that's going to be t to the 3/2 over 3/2 minus, that's going to be t to the negative 1 divided by negative 1 plus c, or in other words, when we clean this up, 2t plus, that fraction comes to the top and is flipped, so 2/3 t to the 3/2 plus 1 over t plus c. Okay, so again, when you take the indefinite integral, it gives you a function that represents the family of all antiderivatives. When you just take the antiderivative, you're representing one specific antiderivative, specifically the one that doesn't have a constant. Let me know if this makes sense. And stay tuned because we're going to get more so into some of the other stuff like definite integrals and all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, let me know if this makes sense. Like and subscribe. Have a good one. Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you need math tutoring or you need SAT math help, look in the description to find out how you can sign up today. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you stay in touch with Math Swap Tutoring on YouTube. Have a good one.